Hello students, a very good evening to all of you and welcome to all of you Shiksha 360, and today we will discuss very important topic, exporters facility. Clear? Basically this topic we will discuss as already provided you the syllabus in the Telegram group, basically in 3 to 4 classes. Clear? So let's start our first session on exporters facility part 1. Clear? And I request to all of you, please practice the questions already provided. Clear? In our Telegram group. Clear? We'll provide you more questions after the completion of the chapter in your Telegram group, but please practice side by side questions after attending the session. Clear? So let's start our session. So basically in this we will discuss basically how export trade happens in India and who is the authority. Who is the authority? Clear? So let's start this session. So in India, export trade. Clear? In India, export trade is regulated by DGFT. Clear? DGFT stands for Director General of Foreign Trade. Clear? If the question is asked in your exam, basically who will regulate the export trade? Who will regulate the export trade in India? So that is regulated by DGFT. And DGFT functions under which ministry? Which functions under the Ministry of Commerce and Industries of Government of India. Clear? DGFT function under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Clear? DGFT functions under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry of Government of India. So policies and procedures. Clear? Policies and procedures required to be followed. Clear? Policies and procedures required to be followed for export trade. Clear? Policies and procedures required to be followed for export trade are announced by the DGFT. Clear? Basically who will announce the policies and procedures? Basically announced by the DGFT. But financing of export trade and facilities granted under FEMA regulations. Clear? But financing of export trade and facilities granted under FEMA regulations are governed by basically which organization? Are governed by the RBI regulation and guidelines. Clear? Basically policies and procedures. Policies and procedures announced by DGFT. But financing of export trade and facilities granted under FEMA regulations are governed by the RBI regulations and guidelines. Similarly, this is basically about export trade. Similarly, import trade is also governed by the DGFT. Clear? So here we will write it. Either it is export or it is to be import. Both are to be governed by the DGFT. With the regulations relating to imports. Clear? With the regulation relating to imports and other payments as provided under FEMA. Clear? As provided under FEMA are governed by the RBI regulations. Clear? Are governed by the RBI regulations. Next one is some other important. So the Reserve Bank of India. Clear? The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, with the powers delegated under FEMA 1999, regulates the exchange control. Clear? The Reserve Bank of India, with the powers delegated under FEMA 1999, regulates the exchange control. Clear? Regulates the exchange control. Regulates the exchange control and receipts or payments. Clear? Basically all foreign exchanges done under the FEMA. Clear? All foreign exchanges done under the FEMA. So the Reserve Bank of India, with the powers delegated under FEMA 1999, regulates the exchange control and receipts or payments of foreign exchange. Clear? And receipts or payments of foreign exchange part through various guidelines. Clear? Through various guidelines or FEMA amendments, while the Office of the Director General of DGFT. Clear? While the Office of the DGFT regulates the trade part. Clear? While the DGFT basically what it regulates? The trade part. Clear? It basically regulates the trade part, and basically RBI regulates the payments. Clear? RBI regulates the payment or shifts. RBI regulates the payment or shifts, while DGFT basically regulates the trade part. Basically through which policy? Through Exim policy. Clear? Through Exim policy. And one question for all of you, basically Exim Bank established under which act? Clear? Exim Bank established under which act? You have to tell. Clear? Basically the regulates the trade control part through the Exim policy and periodic announcements. Clear? And periodic announcements with the view to expand, clear, and periodic announcements with the view to expand or control the international business of the country, clear, with the view to expand or control, clear, with the view to expand or control the international business of the country, clear, with the view to expand or control the international business of the country. Next one is, what are the guidelines for exporters, clear, the exchange and trade control guidelines for the exporters, clear. First one is IEC code, clear, IEC number, very, very important. IEC number stands for importer exporter code number, clear. IEC number stands for basically importer exporter code number, clear. So every firm, person or company, every person, firm or company engaged in export import trade, clear, every firm, person or company engaged in export import trade has to apply for, clear, basically from which organization they will get, basically from the DGFT they will get the IEC number, clear, has to apply for and obtain an importer exporter code number, clear, has to apply for and obtain an exporter importer code number from the DGFT, clear. Basically this is a registration number, very, very important. This is a unique registration number of the firm company for international trade, clear. This number is necessary for the international trade, and the exporter importer, clear, and the exporter importer has to invariably quote this code number in all declarations and forms, clear, and the exporter or importer has to invariably quote this code number in all declaration and form, clear. Basically what are these declarations or form, which we will discuss in our next slide, basically like EDF, electronic declaration form, or soft text form, clear. So we will discuss regarding all this, clear. So basically these are the forms, clear. Like here they are asking declaration of forms. So basically what are the declaration of forms, like EDF form, electronic declaration form, electronic declaration form, or soft text form, clear. So basically these are the different forms or declarations. Now next point is export declaration form, clear, EDF. No, this is not EDF, basically stands for electronic declaration, clear. Export declaration forms, clear. What are the different forms, clear? So basically this is mentioned under the section 7.1, clear. Under section 7.1, further subsection 3 of FEMA, all exports, clear, export basically means sending goods out of the country. Clear, all export of goods from India. Section 713 of FEMA, all export of goods from India, whether in physical form or any other form, clear, whether in physical form or any other form, requires to be declared, clear, whether in physical form, clear. Sometimes they are declared in the physical form, or sometimes they are declared in the software form, clear, software form, clear. So FEMA, all export of goods from India, whether in physical form or any other form, clear, whether in physical form or any other form, requires to be declared, clear, requires to be declared in the prescribed forms, clear, requires to be declared in the prescribed form, to the effect that full value of exports, clear, that the full value of export will be realized, clear, that the full value of exports will be realized within the prescribed period and in the prescribed manner, clear, that the full value of exports, clear. You have to remember that basically why these forms are must, basically because the full value of exports will be realized within the prescribed period and then the prescribed manner, clear. We have to also understand basically what is the prescribed period, clear. Prescribed period is very, very important. Many questions are asked from the prescribed period also, clear. So now we will discuss first is what are the forms, export declaration form. First one is EDF form, basically electronic declaration form. So exports other than software made by all modes, clear. Basically exports other than the software made by basically this form, clear, made by this form, clear. Soft text form, basically export of software in non-physical form, clear. Basically this is for physical, this is for non-physical, clear. Clear, EDF exports other than the software, export of software in non-physical form, clear. So we at that place basically we will use the soft text form, clear. At that place we will use basically the Softex form. Now move to the next point is with the introduction. Clear? After that, there is a new introduction of electronic data interchange. Clear? Within the introduction of electronic data interchange, EDI, electronic data interchange system at certain customers' offices. Clear? At certain customer offices where shipping bills are processed electronically. Clear? Where shipping bills are processed electronically. The GR form has since been replaced by a declaration in form EDF. Clear? Basically, at that places GR form is replaced. Clear? Basically, where electronic data interchange system present. Clear? Or with the introduction of this one, GR form is to be replaced by EDF form. Clear? GR form is to be replaced by EDF form. Clear? You have to remember that. What is the full form of GR? Clear? Sometimes they will also ask what is the full form of GR? Basically, granted remittance. Clear? Granted remittance. Clear? GR basically stands for granted remittance. Clear? So the EDF form. Clear? Some other points. The EDF form should be submitted in duplicate. Clear? EDF form should be submitted in duplicate. Like we have also understand, like some invoice are mainly submitted in the triplicate or duplicate form. Generally in the duplicate, and in some cases it is also in triplicate form. Clear? One is the buyer will get, one is the transporter, and one is the basically who sells the things. Clear? So it depends. Clear? So you have to remember that the EDF form should be submitted in the duplicate, that is to be next to the relative shipping bill to the concerned commissioner of customs. After verifying, clear? After verifying and authenticating the declaration in form EDF, the commissioner of customs will hand over to the exporter. Clear? Basically, after verifying and authentication the declaration in the EDF form, the commissioner of customs will hand over to the exporter one copy of the shipping bill marked exchange control copy. Clear? Basically, the commissioner will mark that copy. Clear? Will mark that copy as exchange control copy. Clear? Will mark that copy as exchange control copy in which form EDF has been approved. Clear? In which form EDF has been approved for being submitted to the authorized dealer. Clear? In which form EDF has to be submitted, or form EDF has been approved for being submitted to the authorized dealer. Clear? For being submitted to the authorized dealer. Clear? So basically all these conditions we have to fulfill. Clear? We have to fulfill. Clear? First of all, we have to submit in the form of duplicate, and after that commissioner of custom will check all the form authentic, verifying and authenticating the declaration form and after that they will submit, or they will hand over the exporter one copy of the shipping bill marked as, clear? That copy will be marked as exchange control copy. Clear? In which EDF form has been approved for being submitted to the authorized dealer. Clear? Basically, sometimes they are mentioning the word authorized dealer, or we can also consider that as to be equivalent to banks. Clear? Authorized dealers are considered or equivalent to the banks. Now next one is exemptions. Clear? There are also certain exemptions in that. Clear? There are also some certain exemptions in that. So basically, what are these exemptions? First one is, so following export or shipments out of India are exempted from export declaration form. Clear? Basically, there are certain exemptions regarding that. Clear? So following export of shipments out of India are exempted from export declaration form in terms of the cases indicated in Regulation 4 of the Foreign Exchange Management Regulations dated 12th January 2016. Clear? Basically, they have mentioned some guidelines regarding that. So we have to discuss all these guidelines one by one. Clear? So we have to discuss all these guidelines now one by one. Clear? First one is trade samples of goods and publicity materials supplied free of cost. Clear? Basically, what we have to provide free of cost. First one is trade samples. Basically, if they are samples, clear, they are provided, they are not requirement of any export declaration form. Clear? Trade samples of goods and publicity material, clear, supplied free of cost. Second one is personal effects of travelers, whether accompanied or unaccompanied, clear, personal effects of travelers, whether accompanied or unaccompanied, clear, they are also exempted. Next one is ship stores or transshipment cargo and goods, clear, basically ship stores or transshipment cargo and goods basically supplied under which order? Under the order of central government, clear, if they are supplied under the order of the central government, under the order of the central government or of such officers, clear, under the order of the central government or of such officers as may be appointed by the central government, clear, under the order of central government or of such officers as may be appointed by the central government, clear, or of such officers as may be appointed by the central government in this behalf or on the military and naval or air force authorities, clear, basically it means that if there is any government authority involved, clear, if there is any government authority involved, then there is as such not any requirement of EDF form, clear, in India for military, naval or air force requirements, clear, either by the central government or other also such officers or may be appointed by the central government in this behalf or of the military, naval or air force authorities. Next one is by way of gift of goods, clear, by the way of gift of goods accompanied by a declaration by the exporter, clear, accompanied by the declaration of by the exporter, basically what is mentioned in the declaration, that these goods are not more than rupees 5 lakh in value, clear, that they are not more than rupees 5 lakh in value, clear, if the goods in the form of gifts, if they are not more than the 5 lakh in value, then basically you can also not require the EDF form, clear. Next one is aircrafts or aircraft engines, clear, aircrafts or aircraft engines and spare parts for overhauling and or repairs abroad, subject to their re-import into India after overhauling or repairing within a period of 6 months from the date of their export, clear, if something are sent abroad basically for the repair purpose or for the overhauling, clear, basically spare parts for overhauling and or repairs abroad, clear, like aircraft engines or aircrafts, clear, basically later they can re-import into India, clear, later they can re-import into India, clear, so you have to remember all these points, clear, basically later they have to re-import into India, basically within how many times, basically within 6 months, clear, basically within 6 months from the date of their export, clear, basically within 6 months from the date of their export, clear, if this thing happen, then they have also not to use any EDF form, clear, so in this case also they not used to any EDF form, clear, so goods imported free of cost on a re-export basis, clear, basically goods which are imported free of cost on a re-export basis, clear, basically which goods we are getting, we have to again export that goods, clear, and we got these goods basically as a free of cost, clear, we basically got these goods as a free of cost, clear, so that is basically also cover under this, clear, also cover under this, basically in general we can say that there is not requirement of any EDF form, clear, so these are basically the some exemptions regarding the EDF form, clear. Now next one is what are the prescribed time limits, clear, what are the prescribed time limits, clear, first one is for submission of export documents, clear. First point here is basically for the submission of export documents, clear, like if anyone doing any export, clear, so they have to submit the export documents so that they can get their amount in time. So what basically within how many days, clear, the exporter is required to submit the export documents, clear, the exporter is required to submit the export documents along with a duplicate or exchange control copy of EDF, basically of EDF form, basically within how many days, basically within 21 days from the date of export, clear, basically within 21 days within 21 days from the date of the export or from the date of certification of the SOFTEX form, clear, either basically within 21 days of the EDF form or basically from the date of certification of the SOFTEX form, basically clear, from the date that is also considered 21 days, clear, from the date of submission, clear, from the date of certification of the SOFTEX form to an authorized dealer, basically for what? For collection, purchase, discount or negotiation. Clear? Basically for what? For collection, purchase, discount or negotiation, as the case may be. Clear? As the case may be, provided that subject to the directions. Clear? Basically they have to follow the direction issued by the Reserve Bank of India from time to time. Clear? The authorized dealer may accept the documents pertaining to export submitted after the expiry of the specified period of 21 days for reasons beyond the control of the exporter. Clear? Sometimes the exporter has not to able to submit the documents on time. Clear? To submit the documents on time. So basically for that they have to give the specific reason. Clear? For that they have to give the specific reasons why he is not able. Clear? Why the exporter is not able to submit the documents and the reasons for late submission. Clear? And the reason for late submission is not in the hand, and the reason for late submission is not in the hands of the exporter. Clear? Like due to some government policies. Clear? Or due to some government guidelines. Clear? There are some delay. Clear? So in that cases the specific time period is exceeded. Clear? They have to accept the documents even after some specific time period. Clear? That is basically the submission of export documents. So you have to remember basically that is basically 21 days. Clear? In general it is to be 21 days. Next one is for realization of export bills. Clear? Now we have to realize. Clear? Export is to be goods are exported. Now we have to realize of export bills. Basically it means we have to get money of our export goods. Clear? So it is obligatory on the part of the exporter that the amount of exports is realized and repatriated into India. Basically it means that back into India within the stipulated time period. Clear? Within the stipulated time period. Clear? First one is the amount representing the full export value. The amount representing the full export value of the goods, software, services exported shall be realized and repatriated into India within 9 months. Clear? That is basically they have to be repatriated into India within 9 months from the date of export. Clear? Within 9 months. Clear? Generally it is basically 9 months. But in some cases that period may be relaxed. Clear? However, the relaxation realization period. Clear? Basically realization of what? Basically realization of export bill. Clear? In some cases the realization of export bill may be relaxed. Basically when? Basically sometimes the goods are kept in the warehouse. Clear? So option point number is where the goods are exported to a warehouse. Clear? Where the goods are exported to a warehouse established outside India. Clear? Where the goods are exported. Clear? First of all, goods are exported from India and before reaching to the customer they are kept in the warehouse for some time. Clear? So where the goods are exported to a warehouse established outside India with the permission of the Reserve Bank. Clear? With the permission of the Reserve Bank. So the amount representing. Clear? The amount representing the full export value of goods. Clear? The amount representing here the full export value of goods and exported shall be paid to the authorized dealer. Clear? The amount representing the full value of goods exported. Clear? Goods exported shall be paid to the authorized dealer. Clear? The first initially the amount should be paid to the authorized dealer as soon as it is realized, and in any case within 15 months from the date of the shipment of the goods. Clear? Basically here the maximum time period is 15 months. Clear? If the goods are kept in the warehouse then the maximum period is 15 months. Otherwise generally it is to be 9 months. Clear? And in some cases this period can be extended. Clear? And in some cases this period can be extended. So we have to understand also basically in which cases this period can be extended and how much it can be extended. Clear? We have to also remember that. So next one is where the export of goods, software, services has been made by units. Clear? Has been made by units in special economic zone status holder. Clear? In special economic zone status, or second one is status holder. Second one is EOUs, exporter or export oriented units, and units in electronic hardware technology parks, or STP, software technologies park, or BTP, biotechnology parks, as defined in the foreign trade policy in force, then notwithstanding anything contained in the sub-regulation 1. Basically that is basically the time. The amount representing the full export value of goods or software shall be realized and repatriated into India within 9 months. Clear? Within 9 months. Clear? So here basically also for that, either it is to be made by special economic zone status holders or EOU economic, or basically that is exporter oriented units, or EHTPs. EHTPs basically stands for electronics, hardware and technology parks, or STP, software technology parks, or BTPs, biotechnology parks. Clear? That is basically they have to realize also within the 9 months from the date of the export. Now, there is sometimes extension given. Clear? Provided further, the Reserve Bank of India, or subject to the direction issued by the Reserve Bank of India in this behalf, the authorized dealer may, for a sufficient and reasonable cost. Clear? The authorized dealer may, for a sufficient and reasonable cost shown, extend the period of 9 months. Clear? They have to extend the period of 9 months for some certain reasons. Clear? They have to extend the period of 9 months for some certain reasons. Note, basically first one is if the bill is not realized within this time. Clear? First one is if the bill is not realized within this stipulated time. Basically like within the 9 months, and in the case of warehouse, basically within the period of 15 months. Clear? If the bill is not realized within the stipulated time, then the exporter, clear, then the exporter shall apply to his authorized dealer. Clear? Then the exporter shall apply to his authorized dealer for extension of time in ETX form. Clear? For extension of time in ETX form. Clear? So they have to submit the ETX form that they want basically extension. Clear? Basically they want some extension in that. So all overdue bills which are not realized within the due date. Clear? All overdue bills which are not realized within the due date shall be followed up vigorously and reported to Reserve Bank of India. Clear? All overdue bills which are not realized within the due date shall be followed up vigorously and reported to Reserve Bank of India. Clear? Shall be followed up vigorously and reported to Reserve Bank of India in a half-yearly statement. Clear? In a half-yearly statement that to be submitted by each authorized dealer branch in June and December each year. Clear? Basically that has to be submitted by each authorized dealer branch for June and December each year. Clear? Basically they have to be submit their half-yearly statement. To whom they have to submit? Basically to the RBI. Clear? And they have to submit for basically for June and December. Clear? They have to submit one in the June month and one in the December month. Clear? So in this session we have to discuss only this point till this point. Clear? And one important thing you have to remember that this time period is to be extended basically as per the RBI guidelines. Clear? And while extension they have to consider the reason why they are extending this time. Clear? Where they are facing the issues. Clear? So they have considering all these points before giving such type of extension. Clear? So thanks to all of you for attending this session, and questions will be provided in the Telegram group so that you can practice, and we will provide you slides after tomorrow's session. Clear? Or after the completion of the topic, we'll provide you the slides in your respective Telegram group. Clear? So thanks to all of you for attending this session.